Welcome to the Fearfic Podcast. Fearfic is the term for short horror fiction, mostly posted on the web. It includes any and all related subgenres. Join three assholes talking basement goo Slimebeast, inebriated interstellar traveler Abysmii, and irritable ghostly man-horde Dead Palette, as they read all stories horror and internet-related, paragraph by paragraph, and bullshit while they do it. From adolescent revenge fantasies to subtle postmodern narratives about real-life events and everything in between, they read it and critique. You better believe it. Kick it to the cold open, white boy.
So, a few nights ago I had a dream, alright? And I'm gonna relate this dream to you and you can tell me maybe what it means, alright?
Okay.
I am going to a movie theater and I run into that situation that we've all run into where I'm trying to sneak outside food into a movie theater. Okay, so that's the setup for this dream. Okay,
and then the swirly head man approaches you and he's like, "No outside food."
Yeah, and then he sucks the food into his swirly head like a vortex. Yeah. But so I'm trying to sneak food into a theater. It's like an awkward interpersonal, public humiliation situation. Where you're like, "Oh, I hope I don't get caught with this fucking, roast ham or whatever the fuck." But I meet this girl there. Meet a girl there. She's really cute. She's blonde. She's really pretty.
Is she Asian?
Say what?
She Asian?
Is she Asian?
Maybe. Sure. Yeah, sure. She's Asian for the sake of the story. And we're going to see the same movie, guys. Isn't that funny? And we just meet and we start talking. Turns out her name is Samantha. Okay. And
Damn.
I'm like, this is nice, meeting a girl, going to see a horror movie, because that's what it was. Someone who's into horror. Wow, you have so much in common. You both like the same fucking, genre of film. Watch the movie, enjoy my, purloined, my snuck-in food. I'm eating, watching a movie, and I have a girl. It's basically every man's dream. It's the male power fantasy. Okay?
Yep.
So,
well, I frequently did that before there was a pandemic, whatever.
Yeah, it is a fantasy now.
I love that the male power fantasy has turned from I'm going to be a super ripped dude with a sword killing demons and shit with a really hot buxom lady on my side to, I think I met a girl to go to a movie with.
Yeah. So we start dating, okay? And this is that typical dream logic where, from one
Time
scene to the next.
Sense.
Say what? Yeah, it doesn't make
Time
sense.
doesn't make. Yeah.
You're just a teenage dirtbag, baby.
Yeah. Smash cut to days later. We're dating. We're, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. It's complicated. And I realize in my dream, holy shit, I don't even know her last name. I don't know her full name. And I'm dating this girl, right? So we're hanging out and I just say to her, what's your last name? That's sort of an odd question to ask somebody you've been with for however long. And so she says her last name, this is the very odd part, this is the very strange part of the whole thing. She says her last name is Witch, like a witch.
Cool.
And in the dream, I'm like, that's really fucking cool. I'm like, that's rare, that's cool, that's amazing. And then in the dream, I actually say to her, holy shit, does that mean we're wolf and witch? That just fits together, that's really funny and perfect, right? So, dream progresses, doesn't really go anywhere, meanders past that point. I wake up and I'm laying in bed, and I think to myself, that was a really interesting dream, that was strange. And then I lay there and I think, why would I pick that, surname? That is really strange. I think to myself, I should look up, on the internet, if that even is a surname. Has there ever been anybody with the last name Witch? Just Witch, spelled correctly. And then I think,
Witch.
Yeah, I think to myself, I should even look up her exact name. Maybe there's some soulmate out there that has this exact name, looks exactly like her, and I dreamt about it. Wouldn't that be fucking weird? I don't believe in that shit, but that would be weird. Lay there for about 5 minutes thinking about this, and I realize the name of my girlfriend in my dream is Samwich. I literally dreamt that I was dating fucking food. So what would you guys say? How would you analyze this dream?
Oh boy,
That's your manic pixie dream girl. Is we need to go on your vision quest across the country. There's somebody in Ontario, Canada, named Samantha Witch, and then that's our indie movie is The Hunt for Samantha Witch.
How about what would we call it? Maybe something like I Could Go for a Sandwich. Huh?
I could go for a sandwich, yeah.
You have somehow taken
Drugs.
misogyny past, whereas it was just women are just sandwich makers to women are sandwiches.
Sandwiches themselves.
Get back in the kitchen and be a sandwich.
I don't know what to say. You're beyond help.
Go into the kitchen, put yourself on a plate, and then bring yourself out here.
I want you to cuck me by sliding between two pieces of bread.
God damn it.
So have you guys, I don't know, have you guys ever had similar experiences in your dreams where you've realized you fucked yourself over in your own subconscious with some kind of trolling debate?
No, because I did that in real fucking life, and it still haunts me to this day.
Damn.
I had a dream that I came down with ligma.
So, what are we reading?
We're going to be reading Fleming Storage Unit number 27, Mimetic Mary.
I want to point out there's a pretty short cold open. Does anybody else want to throw in another cold open on the pile there?
Nah, that's all right. The last one was rather long, so...
Yeah, I don't have any puns about food in my pocket. But this is by Alec Hatzenberg, or Sci Guy Hats.
You don't have any puns about food hot in your pocket?
We've already done that.
Can you king size my hot pocket? That would make it not fit in the toaster.
Wait, toaster?
Toasters. I mean, that's what a hot pocket is. It's basically just a toaster strudel.
Do you toast hot pockets?
Listen, I'm feeling judged here.
I'm not on trial here.
Poor Chelsea, always wondering why she smells burning cheese. You're cheese lighting her. You're like gaslighting her with burnt cheese smell. What is that? I don't know, babe.
That's exactly how I talk.
A little bit.
I don't know, babe. I don't know, babe. Get back in the kitchen and be a sandwich.
Alright. So this is by Sci Guy Hats with a Z.
Do you secretly have a vor fetish where you just like, yeah, no, a transformation fetish. You want your girlfriend to turn into a sandwich and you want to eat her?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So let's get into this fucking story. The air was cool and dry as I backed my U-Haul pickup to Fleming Storage Unit number 27. After a moment of panic, I realized I had the key in my jacket pocket and not attached to my normal key ring. Thank goodness I didn't want to waste a 2-hour drive only to have forgotten the key at home. I opened the padlock and slid the door up, that's what that says.
Yep.
I had remembered to pack a camping lantern, but I left it in the cab of the truck. Turns out that there was plenty of ambient daylight. It was almost hard to believe that I had left all of this stuff here 7 years ago. Almost exactly today was
okay.
Almost exactly today. Yes.
Be honest with me. Be honest with me. Mm-hmm. Are the colors of the site fucking with you? Because I can change them.
No, there are just other issues at play here. Look, there are some like things on the other screen, and there's things in the room. It just makes it hard to read. I can't focus on just words.
Okay. You're reading the chat on another screen. You're live streaming this.
Mm-hmm. Just live streaming dyslexia.
Thank you, Asian Amy, for your donation.
Today was October 10th, 2017. Last time I was here in Haver was October 4th, 2008. The day the storage unit. The day I closed the storage unit and didn't look back.
The music died. So why was I here 7 years later? Well, I received a letter in the mail from Fleming Storage Units. Turns out it was shutting down and we needed to vacate our belongings. Something in the letter said a body was found in another unit. I don't know any more than the letter told me, but it did say that if we didn't get our stuff from the storage units, then they would be sold at police auction.
Huh.
Unit 27.
Come to units, dead body, stuff gone if you don't. That's the letter.
Stuff gone.
Rip your
Bad
stuff.
Happened.
Yeah.
Unit 27 is where I stored all the stuff my grandfather had left in his house after he died. I didn't have any time to really go through it when he passed. I just wanted to get out of Haver since I had nothing more there. After Grandpa's death, I was the only one around. Dad was in jail, damn, and Mom had just up and disappeared one day. So I just shoved it all in the storage unit, locked the door, signed the paperwork for automatic withdrawal, and left. Luckily, Grandpa's estate wasn't big. All his stuff that I didn't throw out, like old clothes and his furniture, fit in just one unit.
Luckily, his estate wasn't big. He collected small Funko Pops.
I only had about 25,000 in the storage unit.
This is my Fifth Element Funko Pop of Lilu.
He also left me some money as well, so I used that to pay for the unit. At something like $260 per year, his extra cash would have covered the better part of a decade.
All right.
Damn, I would have just fucking sold that shit off at that point.
I have a question for DP. Let me interview you about the Fleming Storage Units for just one question, okay?
Absolutely.
Is it a rule that the narrator has to have left Haver when it's coming back?
No.
I think so.
No, it's just a common trope.
So everybody is well within their rights to write, I was a local legend around Haver. I never left it because I loved it there. You know, like, it was really my kind of town, you know?
Listen, I was just, a big dick about town in Haver.
I'd rather be a big fish in a small pond than a small fish in a pond full of New York elites, you know?
This is a very telling thing about the demographic of authors who wrote for the Fleming Storage Unit Project.
None of them live in rural areas.
Well, although I think some of them do, but it's more like this is a bunch of stuff my insert relative who's older than me had because I don't have a house and I don't have stuff because I'm a fucking millennial and they just have old shit.
Millennials are killing the horror story industry. I had to go back to this dumb old town because one of my ancient relatives died or some shit. I don't know.
It's just it's so gothic in a way.
That's what I love about the RPC Authority versus the SCP Foundation, because a lot of the SCP Foundation things are like, increasingly like social justice, identity politics, blah blah blah. But like before that, it was like a lot of weeb stuff and like anime and video game related things, and that's because the people writing them like Japanese culture and anime and video games. And the RPC Authority kind of like came up with a retcon of that where like, because we dropped the atomic bombs, those just like fucked with reality because it was like the war itself was just such mechanical death and destruction that it started destroying reality. I'm simplifying. And so that led there to being more Japanese kind of entries into the story because the bombs were dropped there and that fucked things up. So it kind of like gives an excuse for there to be like, man, there's a lot of fucking weeb stories here.
So basically, there was a nuclear explosion and a nuclear winter of fan fallout?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
They're just these little particles falling all around you, and you're like, you know what? I could read One Piece. I don't know.
Absolutely. Listen, 23 years of comic to catch up on, no big deal.
Yeah. So there I was, almost 7 years later, and in a much better mental state, not Montana, looking at an opportunity to finish that chapter of my life. I figured that this would be as good as time as any to finally go through that crap and see if there was anything worthwhile. I imagined that when I put this stuff in storage that I may find a Superman #1, it's Action Comics #1, you fake geek.
Oh no.
Or something like that, but realistically, I knew that it was probably more along the lines of knickknacks, paddywhacks, and bones for various dogs. No, lines of lines of knickknacks that would sell for a few bucks each. Funko Pops, yeah. I think he had some real silverware, if nothing else, which is good for werewolves. I could sell that for the precious metal, at least. I live down
tired of these shitty stories with all of their like blatant foreshadowing. We're clearly going to get werewolves here because you just have Chekhov's silverware up in this bitch.
Chekhov's werewolves.
It's not going to be werewolves, DP. It's going to be super wolves. You have to combine both clues: Superman #1 and silverware.
That's what happens if you go and ask for a werewolf at McDonald's, which they will do because they'll accommodate you. Because Burger King, it's a kingdom, whereas, McDonald's, that's a republic. That's a democratic republic. Okay, you have representation there.
I like the idea of a Burger King where you can go in and it's like one of those off-menu items. You order a werewolf, and what it is it's like a burger cut with some kind of, like, erectile drug, So it's like, eat this meat and you'll turn into a raging wolf, you know? Like,
how about it just be, it's just a burger patty made out of hair?
Asian Amy, come over here.
Oh no.
This is one of those situations where this episode's going to make no sense if you didn't watch the last episode.
I live down in Great Falls, about 2 hours or so south of Haver, just off Route 87, not 82 like I was going to say. We were originally from Haver, but after everything that happened, I moved out and got a place in Great Falls. Yeah.
Absolutely. I had paid time off from the therapy office I work at and decided to take a week off to visit Haver with a U-Haul and clear out the unit. I didn't remember much of the area, so I did some digging online and found that in the plaza next door there were a bunch of restaurants and a consignment shop.
Boo.
I figured that
didn't name the restaurants, didn't name drop.
We will see if we go to one of the many, cute little locales of Haver, Montana. I figured that I could stay and unload some stuff while enjoying some takeout food without feeling guilty. I booked a motel several miles down the road, down Route 2, about 30 minutes away, and was all set to stay in the area.
So, on the morning of October 10th, I started out from home with the U-Haul and drove up I-87 to Haver. It overall was a pleasant morning and drive. Clear weather and comfortable temperatures made for a rather scenic cruise up to Haver. I stopped and treated myself to a greasy spoon breakfast and got a large coffee to go.
Greasy spoon breakfast?
Yeah.
That's probably a dialectical thing from where Sagai Hats is from, I bet.
You've heard of greasy spoons, right?
Nah.
Really?
No,
Neither of you?
No.
A greasy spoon is basically a slang term for like a not very good diner or restaurant or something like that.
Sure.
Okay.
Some place where you would get served with a spoon that was greasy because it's not really very clean.
Okay. I figured it was something like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Fucking millennials. Millennials are killing the greasy spoon industry.
Millennials are demanding better food and service. Finishing the drive, I was surprised by how many people were already at Fleming Storage by the time I arrived around noon. All around the place, people were opening units and digging stuff out. I enjoyed chatting while working, so I tried drumming up conversation, but not many folks were close enough to talk.
That's a bit of a departure from every other storage unit narrator. I liked people,
True.
Everyone was social distancing.
I didn't believe in it. I walked right up to them and coughed. I pulled empty boxes from the U-Haul and started going through the packed storage unit. Damn! How did I get all this stuff in here? Most of what I found was junk. Many old papers went straight into boxes labeled trash. Damn! What if there's important papers in there? Some lease to something, some deed. I don't know. Occasionally I would find an old piece of artwork, appliance, or interesting knickknack that Grandpa had kept that I put into the sell box. While I was working, another car pulled up 2 units down from me. I waved and continued working. The driver of the car rolled down his window, pointed at me, and shouted, "I'll kick your ass at Bubble Bobble." That's not in here.
This right here was my grandfather. Oh, I don't know why I'm saying he's the grandfather in an old-timey man voice. This right here is my grandfather's Bubble Bobble Funko Pop.
God damn it. Is it Bob or Bob?
Yes.
Fun fact, Bob and Bob are the names of the Bubble Bobble dinosaurs.
It's the full collection. Okay.
Oh.
Well, it's a combo pack, so you get both.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know that that's a thing. Okay, that that's not synced. You got to have all of them in their own little individual square boxes. That way, they're easier to stack. Okay.
NRFB.
I heard a small commotion about an hour later. I figured that someone had fallen. What with the advanced age of most of the Haver, Montana locals.
Mm-hmm.
But no one at this Fleming Storage Unit is a local. Everyone's from out of town.
Brandon, you want to reread that first clause?
What? I figured that something had fallen. That makes more sense. Okay.
Old people are just things.
Ha ha, you fucking old people. But
Fucking
said
old.
something had fallen.
Something had fallen. He points to the corpse hanging in Unit 70.
Damn it.
I saw the person stumble back from his unit. He looked around, breathing heavy. I'm pretty sure I saw him trembling. He rested against his car for a few minutes before returning to work. I tried not to pry, but it looked like something had spooked him good. Probably a rat or a mouse or something had gotten into the unit.
And he's given him a thumbs up. So I'm assuming that ties into another story,
right?
Where the narrator of another story stumbles out of his unit.
You ever stumbled out of the side of your unit? After going through about a dozen bags of crap, I found something that surprised me. Grandpa had never been a terribly religious man, but he always had a small statue of the Virgin Mary next to his bed. It was one of those...
He had never been terribly religious. He was very good at being religious, not terrible, so, yeah.
Only proper Catholics sleep with the Virgin Mary statue by their bed.
Only proper Catholics sleep with the Virgin Mary.
It was one of those small porcelain statues that you see everywhere.
It's a Virgin Mary Funko Pop! With the fucking spaced out derp eyes and shit.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh my god, please tell... Oh, no, okay. Vatican approved Funko.
Vatican approved Funko Pop.
Funko Pope?
Funko Pope.
Oh god, okay. What's the current fucking Pope? I already forgot his name.
Pope Bagelsworth, I don't know.
Pope Bagel Bites. Get on that Vatican branding for Funko Pops if you want to really get your lost funding back.
There's been so many popes, you could make a lot of pops. You could have an anti-pope pop,
Could.
Anti-pope.
There were several anti-popes, so...
What is an anti-pope?
An anti-pope is when someone else outside of Rome elected their pope as a power move to basically say, fuck you, we're the real Catholic Church. It happened several times throughout history.
Oh my god, what if Trump did that?
I'm the anti-pope.
Just elected himself anti-pope. I'm the real pope.
Fucking American Catholics would eat that up because they hate the, well, not all of them, but a lot of them don't like the current Pope. Francis! His name is Francis.
Listen, there's been a lot of concern about the Vatican and pedophilia, so who better than me, friend of Jeffrey Epstein, to be the new Pope?
Trump Pope. Trump the first Pope. The best Pope.
Pope Donny Boy.
From what I understand, though, aren't you... Protestant, listen, that's never kept anyone out from being the Pope.
God damn it.
Oh, God. Blah, 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 that you see everywhere. Mary was in her blue and white robe, standing barefoot, crushing the serpent from the Garden of Eden.
Ooh.
That happened in the Bible. I found that I stopped dead in my tracks when I pulled that statue out. Suddenly, a wave of memories came back.
I remember dressing up as the Virgin Mary one year for Halloween.
I remember dressing up as the snake, and my mom was dressed up as the Virgin Mary, and she was pounding my face with her foot.
Isaac! Grandpa
Get out of here, you dead cobra.
Yes. Grandpa could be a lot of fun to be around. He was barrel-chested and always took pride in his massive beard, despite not having any hair on his head. He was a career army captain and always had a cigar on hand, no matter what he was doing. All of his fingers were cigars. He loved to play games with my sister, Sharon, and me. Okay. Going to Grandpa's was usually a treat. The problem with Grandpa was that he would occasionally drink too much. Moreover, he was a mean drunk. He wasn't terribly drunk, he was a terrible drunk. So yeah.
You're a mean drunk. Grandpa.
Uncle Rick.
You really are my grandpa.
Stop abusing your kids.
You've got DUIs and domestic abuse in your police file downtown. Uncle Rick.
If I wasn't your grandson, I would report you to Children's Services.
For all of you listening who are not our age and have not heard the fucking original, well, I guess the song was also in the remakes of The Grinch. Is that true?
I don't know. Who cares?
Okay.
Well, I don't like the Grinch live action movie, but the version of the song in it's pretty good.
And it's sung by Jim Carrey.
Yeah, is it? No, I don't think so.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
That's your Jim Carrey impression? Impressive.
You're a mean one. Yeah. Okay.
As I got older, I wanted to go see Grandpa less and less as his drinking got worse and worse. My mom and dad always insisted that we visit Grandpa since it was the proper thing to do, but that excuse got weaker and weaker as he turned into more and more of an asshole.
Hey-yo.
As I learned from my limited education and therapy, alcoholics often are extremely apologetic for their actions when drunk, but won't stop their behavior anyway. Grandpa fit this to a T. He would be fun and apologize when he got sober, and as soon as he drank, that persona disappeared. It felt like a real-life Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking that was going to be a contradiction, because the first thing says they're extremely apologetic. Oh, sorry, for their actions when they're drunk, not
yes.
They're apologizing when they're actually inebriated. They're apologizing for what they did when they were drunk. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's not the author. That's me. That's me being dumb. Never mind. Stupid drunk Abysmii.
You're fired.
I know. Unsurprisingly, Grandpa developed liver disease and kidney failure. He spent the last several years of his life in the nursing home. Since he had no alcohol, he was, a lot better to be around. Damn, that's some irony right there.
Then the local Burger King put up a flyer on the notice board at the nursing home.
Uncle Bob only lasted about 2 weeks at the Burger King before he was found hung in the fridge and strangled.
Listen, you've got to stop going into the manager's wine cellar at the Burger King.
Visiting became better, but never quite pleasurable.
All right. So, yeah. As visiting an elderly relative in a nursing home, usually pleasurable, but yeah. As I sat there, staring at the small statue in my hand, a car driving by shook me from my reverie, and I got back to work. I like to think it's just playing that WAP song as it goes by. You know
WAP song?
WAP? W-A-P? WAP? WAP?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Abysmii, you got that WAP? Abysmii, you got that WAP, huh? Just yes or no?
No, I don't understand. No, guys, I'm a fucking recluse, by the way. I'm not up on anything.
It stands for weird alien penis.
Yeah.
Then yes. Yes, I do.
Okay,
Abysmii's like
admits
WAP.
to having WAP.
Yeah, music, WAP. Yeah, like doo-wop. Yeah, I know about doo-wop.
Is it WAP or WAP? Because I know one is a slur, but not in the way it's spelled.
That's what was throwing me off, because, yeah.
I think it's WAP. I don't know.
Really? I'll have to listen to the song. I do.
There is an artist that I like who made music for the game Helltaker, and they uploaded a video, and it just like had a buxom lady as like part of the thumbnail, and YouTube like demonetized it, and they were complaining about it to YouTube support, and they're like, yeah, we limited it so that children aren't going to come across it. And it's
yeah.
And so I messaged them just being like, oh, thank God I found you guys. Otherwise, yeah, I found this video, WAP. It has all kinds of sexually explicit things that I don't want kids to see. So if you could do something about that, that would be excellent. And they were like, well, thank you. You should report that. Well,
report it so we can ignore it.
So you reported, I'm assuming, what is a very popular song right now.
Yes.
That is rife with inappropriate sexual content.
It is just very sexually explicit.
Okay,
not even subtle.
Abysmii, it doesn't actually stand for weird alien penis. It stands for wet ass P-word?
Pussy.
You don't have to insult me just because I'm explaining something to you. Fine.
No, I was quoting Ben Shapiro, who has continually...
So you do know what it is.
Well, no, now that you're telling me,
okay.
I did see Ben Shapiro continually self-own himself that he can't satisfy his wife.
For this wet-ass P-word.
It's so fucking funny to me.
He's just oblivious to it.
So, everyone watching, this is ridiculous. Why would a P-word ever be wet? I've never seen such a thing.
I was talking with my wife, and we agreed that this isn't a thing. It's just, sex is not important.
God damn.
Ben Shapiro, I like you. I don't hate you. You've got to stop self-owning yourself so publicly.
Ben Shapiro, I do hate you because you said that rap isn't music because of stupid arbitrary terms that don't mean anything, and then went on to say that rock and jazz are just perversions of classical music, and that is the end-all be-all apogee of music, and you're a fucking idiot.
That is also dumb. But that, people are allowed to have bad tastes.
Wife, come over here.
They're allowed to have bad taste. They're not allowed to be wrong.
Wife, come over here. I have my D word out. Show me your P word. Could you imagine? Fucking hell.
Oh, goddamn.
I put the statue in the cab. I felt as though I should keep it as a memento. I went back into the unit and continued to go through it. Unsurprisingly, most of it went into the trash boxes. However, I like the idea he saves the Virgin Mary and then he's like finding Jesus on the cross and he's like, trash.
Nope. Look, you know, the Bible is full of characters. You only like some of them. You're only going to keep some of the Funko Pops.
Yeah. However, I had 3 boxes of stuff to sell. Around 4 p.m., I went to the consignment shop in the plaza next door.
Oh boy, I hope we get to talk with the consignment shop owner.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
As I walked oh, sorry, your turn.
Yeah. As I walk through the door, like, what up? I've got a big pop.
Statue of Mary.
Walk through the door, like, what up? I got some Funko Pops. As I walk through the door to Hopper's Firearm and Consignment, which, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many times this has been misconstrued. Hopper's Firearm Consignment is only a firearm store. It is not a general consignment shop.
Apparently it is.
Apparently it is. I'm wrong.
Fuck you.
I came up with the idea and I'm wrong.
Yep.
Everyone just decided that that's what consignment meant in the world of firearms, but whatever. I realized quickly that they were heavy on the firearms and not so much on the consignment. Yes, because it is a gun shop. That's what consignment in that context means.
What if the gun shop is just a front for an illegal Funko Pop ring?
Rare underground Funko Pops.
Yeah.
This isn't supposed to be public yet. It's in 2024 when Trump announces that he's going to be the anti-pope.
Right here behind this glass counter you see here under lock and key, we got Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, but this is from Captain Marvel 2, which isn't out yet, you see. Looks like the same exact figure, but no.
If you notice carefully, it has a little bit more of a weird fan-hating scowl on it. I didn't bring any boxes in with me, planning to just walk in and work to negotiate what I could get. However, I knew that none of Grandpa's knickknacks would be sold here unless they were gas-powered or fired a bullet. That's a weird way to phrase things, but okay.
Gas-powered bullets.
Young...
Just bullets full of gas.
Just explode the gun.
I can't remember if that was a thing. If maybe they just have like power equipment too. I don't know. A young man stood behind the counter, leaning on the glass, while an awkward man was speaking.
He was in the corner spinking. It was disgusting.
Spinking off.
Can we make it so that spinking is the term for masturbating a micropenis?
Yes.
Can we not talk about Ben Shapiro spinking off and then regretting?
I'm spinking my pee.
I'm sorry, Jewish God.
What if Ben Shapiro uses P word both for pussy and penis? So he's like, "Come here, baby, show me your P word, and I'll put my P word inside."
Ben Shapiro has never seen his wife or any woman naked. He doesn't know anything about sex.
That's disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting. I don't have a good Ben Shapiro impression. Speaking to him about how he had prepared for the upcoming war, a young man caught my gaze and gave me a look that asked for help. Approaching the counter, I stood apart from the man and fiddled with my phone.
The young man caught my gaze and gave me a look that asked for help.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it be I gave him a look that asked for help?
No, because there's a young man standing there, and there's a weird guy, like an awkward man, talking to him. So the young guy is kind of like, "Get me out of this fucking conversation."
About about the upcoming war, as in like
the 2020 war. Yeah.
With the Civil War that's going to happen.
This is prophetic.
The last one we read was prophetic too.
Shit.
Which was hilarious because Jethro Reading left a comment, or hello there, whichever name you prefer, left a comment just being like, "I don't know if the Black Lives Matter thing is still going to be like a big issue in American politics. Lamau." Bigger than ever.
Is Jethro Reading Jesus?
I'll take this next paragraph here. He was wearing an Antifa t-shirt. I don't know what that is.
Excuse me, Marty. I've got a customer to attend to, the young man said. I'm a customer, Mary exclaimed. Oh, no, she's a Karen. I deserve the same attention as everyone else, Peter Jr.
Okay, so Marty to Mary. That was quick.
Marty McFly. Marty, you've been here for 2 hours and haven't bought anything, Pete said. I'm happy to chat, but you know that Dad would kill me if I ignored paying customers. With a grunt, Marty waved him off and looked at the guns in the case. I nodded and put my phone away as Pete approached me.
I like that they have nothing else to do, so they're just hanging out there all day.
Hi, stranger. Peter Hopper. What can I help you with? He asked me with a warm smile and a firm handshake and a firm smile and a warm handshake and a firm hand smile.
And he's in there and I'm out there and he's the sheriff and he has a big iron.
Hi, Peter. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Hi, Peter. I'm Roland Sawyer. I'm wondering if you would be, I'm gonna drop the voice because it's fucking me. I'm wondering if you would be interested in selling some old stuff for my grandpa. I'm cleaning out the storage unit next door and would like to avoid carting tons of it home with me.
Sure, I'll take a look. What kind of stuff you got? You got any of those, biblical Funko Pops?
For all the rage in the Bible Belt.
Okay, guys, I would be tempted to buy a Funko Pop of a biblical alien. Or not alien, angel. What the
Angel?
fuck?
Yeah. The ones that are just like series of eyes on fire. Yeah,
a Funko Pop of a lion's head that's like a cartwheel of legs, you know? Like, there's a demon like that, which is, or maybe it's a demon, not an angel. I don't know. I have allergies. Fuck you.
That's what I want to see. I want to see a different timeline with atheist Ben Shapiro. Where he's just like, how can I have a bunch of eyeballs and be an angel and then be a servant of God? That's just illogical. Okay, that doesn't line up.
Why don't we go full atheists, SJW, feminists Ben Shapiro and have him doing a video where he's like, I don't even know why I'm up here. Why do I have a channel? I should be giving up my platform. I don't understand this. I, as a white man, should not be talking, especially not this fast.
Good times. Mostly knickknacks and some old appliances, a couple of old paintings, stuff like that. Okay, you got them with you? I led Pete to the Uhaul and opened the back. He looked through the boxes and made a few comments to himself while working. After about 15 minutes, he closed up the boxes and turned to me. It's not a lot of our usual stuff, but I'd be happy to take it for you. Our consignment rate is 35. Does that sound good? 35%. But don't you buy it off of me?
We're not a pawn shop. You own the stuff legally until we sell it. We sort of act as an in-person eBay or Amazon. People buy through us, but you are the one who is legally selling it. Since we have more overhead than a website, we take a lion's share of the sale. But legally, you are still technically the one selling it.
Hear that, Brandon? That's how your store works, you fuck.
You know what? I'm fine with it, because at least I'm being given details about how it works.
It's funny, though,
eBay spelled wrong.
So what?
To point out. eBay spelled incorrectly.
Oh, yeah, with a capital E. Yeah.
Oh, God, the story. There's nothing wrong with this story. That's the one thing I can say about it that's bad.
It's interesting that you would put consignment in the name of the store, and it would just so happen that is a very useful tool in all storytelling revolving around clearing out a unit is a consignment
Listen, we gotta bust these unions.
Yeah.
Slimebeast Union Buster coming out.
Listen, everybody out there listening to this, if you have a problem, I just want to say you're lucky I'm muting to blow my nose. Because you would hear a lot of shit. Is this me now?
No, it's still me.
Okay.
It was odd that he used the term legally so many times, but to his credit, when you're selling that many guns, you want to stay current on the law. We went back inside and continued to talk terms. I agreed to take a 30% cut of the sale if they were willing to mail me a check in 6 months for whatever sold, and that they would keep anything that didn't. Disappointed that I wouldn't walk out with any cash, Peter did offer to give me a full list of all the stuff that I turn in, it should be turned in over the next few days, so that I could cross-reference their sales sheet when I got the check. Since he was willing to take on the extra work, I agreed to the terms.
Okay. As I exited the gun shop, the smell of Chinese food and Mexican food assaulted me, as did a Chinese man and a Mexican man.
Asian Amy and Mexican...
Mildred?
Mike.
Mexican Mike! Yeah.
Mexican came out and started beating me in the face.
Mexican Mike came up to me, dressed very stereotypically. "Oi, mate," he said. "What you doing in this neighborhood?"
"Would you like a quesadilla?"
He moved his poncho out of the way to show his revolver.
God damn it. I didn't realize how hungry I was until I smelled all those good food. So, I headed over to the Mexican restaurant where there was a big sign advertising margaritas. A tasty drink sounded like a nice treat after all the work I had done. Walking into the Mexican restaurant, called Mark Madness Tex-Mex Restaurant, I was greeted by a friendly middle-aged woman with a name tag that said... Damn it. I was greeted by a friendly middle-aged woman with a name tag that said Marge. Of Mark Madness? I wondered if there was an E missing on the sign for the restaurant as she seated me at the table. She brushed the E off of her name tag.
"I am Mark."
I am Mark. Am I the only one? I'm just going to throw this out there. Hot take.
Okay.
I really do not like margaritas.
No, I don't like tequila to begin with, so pretty much all tequila drinks I'm not a fan of either.
I see. That's the thing, though, is like I don't even mind tequila. Just really not a fan of margaritas.
They don't win any awards from me. And Slimebeast is teetotal, so never mind.
Yeah. Well, he definitely doesn't like margaritas.
Yeah. I don't even like people named Margarita.
Do you like margarita mix?
Do you like margarita pizzas?
Is that Irish margaritas or what?
I don't know if joke or serious.
Please help.
Anyway.
I'll make margarita. The meal was excellent. I was...
Hey, everybody, snake meat back here again with my bathtub margaritas.
Oh, no.
Absinthe margaritas.
I'm making bathtub Shirley Temples.
I think the average human body would just reject that combination of fucking alcohol. They would just be too gross.
No, bathtub Shirley Temples. He's just in a giant thing of cherries. I'm a giant cherry. The meal was excellent. I was surprised that such a great meal could be had in my old hometown. The drinks were great as well. The margaritas were cheap and flavorful. I ended up having more than one, but stopped myself before I had too much. Well, if you can't even keep track, you know that it was just more than one, but you don't know how many. You probably had too many.
I had more than one. I'm not sure how many, but I do know that I stopped when I needed to. Anyway, I woke up the next day.
I will say, I was at a brunch once, and there was bottomless mimosas. But depending on how you do bottomless mimosas, you can keep track. But if it's just they come by and pour you more mimosas when you're not looking, then you lose track of how many mimosas you've had, and then you're drunk as shit at 2 p.m., and it's a problem because you have to drive home.
And while we oftentimes point out that Abysmii is not a lawyer, he is an alcoholic, so you can trust him on this one.
How are you getting drunk off mimosas, homie?
That's just... Well, okay, number one, had nothing to eat prior, because it was brunch. Number two, it was a lot of mimosas.
That has to be a lot of mimosa.
On an empty stomach, not really, and it depends on what the mixture is, because it's basically wine. You can get wine drunk rather quick on an empty stomach if you have a good... depending on the ratio.
Sure, but, like, my understanding is that, like, it's like 40% champagne and, like, 60% orange juice.
Not how I drink mimosas.
Is a mimosa, okay, as the teetotaler, is a mimosa considered a girly drink?
The same way
absolutely.
Margaritas are.
So maybe,
yes.
Maybe
no. Margaritas are like much more gender ambiguous, leaning towards a girly drink.
Maybe Abysmii just has it all flipped, where he is like
maybe
super...
Abysmii is just a big fat lady. Yeah, I get it.
No, god damn it, a big fat lady Abysmii. Fuck, double draw big fat lady Abysmii.
Yes, with the mimosa.
A mimosa flight specifically.
Yeah, it has to be mimosas in like the little champagne flights.
So just so people don't get it twisted, I was thinking Abysmii gets really wasted on girly drinks, but then really stiff drinks, he's, just like pounding them back with no effect. Anyway.
Yeah, that's probably what's happening.
No, I'm not letting this go. So mimosas done properly are
Yeah, we
mostly
know you won't let
champagne.
go of your mimosa, buddy.
You just do a dash of orange juice to basically just color it from clear champagne to what looks like a mimosa. That's how I drink mimosas. So it's mostly champagne.
You just want a visual mimosa? I want it to look like I'm not drinking straight alcohol.
It's like when you use vermouth in fucking, you know what, never mind. Just read.
You're going over.
Stop
people's
giving
heads
away
with-
my fucking secrets.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always drunk on mimosas.
All right,
So
so
my go-to drink is a girly drink. It's a Cosmopolitan, but it's a manly drink because it's very alcohol based.
Now, which one would you prefer, Cosmos or Manhattans?
oh boy,
I just said Cosmopolitan is my favorite drink.
Okay. But would you drink a Manhattan on occasion?
Sure.
Okay.
Unlike some other people, I knew when I had to stop.
After dinner, I drove over to the hotel.
You got some mimosas.
Got several mimosa flights. I had found a Best Western a bit of a ways away. It had good rates and the reviews were pretty good. Knowing that I'd be spending
continental breakfast. The breakfast had orange juice.
Knowing that I'd be spending the days doing a decent amount of physical labor, I splurged on getting a whirlpool room. That is a hard word to say. Whirlpool room.
See, I thought that said, knowing that I'd be spending the days doing a decent amount of physical labor, I splooged in the whirlpool. That's...
Oh man, it's going to be a tough day tomorrow of lifting heavy boxes. I'm not normally one for taking baths. I don't bathe, but a hot soak in a jetted tub sounded like it would be awesome if I was sore from moving. Unpacking, I put the suitcase on the desk and pulled out my clothes for the week while the tub filled. I pulled out my laptop and loaded up Netflix. Why not watch a movie while relaxing? Unfortunately, Stranger Things Season 2 wasn't going to be out for another couple of weeks, so I settled for Captain America: Civil War.
Of which I had all of the Funko Pops.
I like the idea that it says I laid out all my clothes for the week. I like the idea of him just taking out a black thong and a pink tube top that says, "Yeah, I'm a goof."
Would a goof wear that?
He just has like a crop top that says mimosas. Yes.
I think a twink would wear that. A goof would just wear like a fucking baggy t-shirt and some jeans.
Okay, well then that.
Yeah.
Gotta keep the lore straight, Slimebeast.
Keep the lore straight, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, phobe.
Okay, phobe.
Phobe?
Okay, phobe.
Oh,
that's excellent.
Hashtag okay, phobe.
We could just throw that out like phobic against what? Like I need to tell you.
Yeah.
Just apostrophe FOBE.
Yep.
K-phobe.
And if anybody asks any question about what the fuck you're talking about, you just say that proves it.
Mm-hmm.
After the soak, this is me, right?
Yeah.
After the soak, I continued to watch the movie in bed until I fell asleep. The hotel room was comfortable and I slept well. However, I had a dream about Sam Witch that awoke me with a sudden start in the early morning. I was walking through the woods and was struck by a car that plowed through the trees. I like that dream.
Damn.
It's Abysmii's nightmare. My heart was pounding and my hands were shaking and my knees were weak and my arms were sweaty and my head was jelly.
Spaghetti.
As I lay awake in bed, coming back here had definitely stirred up some things, but it's something. No. I see, okay. It is supposed to be singular. Had definitely stirred up something I had rather left buried.
I like the idea that Abysmii goes to a Best Western. He gets the whirlpool room. He hits like 5 on the elevator, goes up there, lays out his clothes, pours himself some like really stiff mimosas because that's a thing of fucking apparently. And he gets into the whirlpool, and then a truck just barrels into the whirlpool
On the 5th floor, yeah.
on the 5th floor.
When I go to hell, which I definitely am, that's going to be my punishment. It's just eternally thinking I'm safe and then getting hit by a car.
God damn it.
As soon as you think you're safe. So 10:11, I guess this is the day. I sat there in the early morning watching the sunrise while sipping coffee and drinking my mimosa and reflecting on what had led me here. Dad was currently rotting in the Hill County Jail, and Sharon was rotting in the ground because of him. Mom was gone. She filed for divorce and left. I haven't heard from her, so she may as well be dead. What the fuck happened to me to be here? Alive and relatively normal. What with my insane collection of Funko Pops? I love that we're just being really divisive to both the author and the narrator by continuously bringing up Funko Pops.
My insane collection of Funko Pops makes me think they're all just insane clown posse Funko Pops.
I'm sorry, the story is good. We have nothing valuable to say.
Like, it's moving along at a fair clip.
You can almost gauge when we're reading a story on this podcast. This is like a game for people to play at home. The more outlandish and stupid our tangents become, the better the story is. Because we're just going off into random bullshit because there's nothing really to make fun of.
And that can be two different things. That can be either the story is giving us nothing to go off of, or maybe it's Meet the Deathsons. Either way, it's a good story.
Yeah.
One thing was certain, although I enjoy a drink here and there, I will never, ever drive drunk. Except for last night, because, like, the mimosas just got away from me.
Yeah.
I will not... Listen, it was 2 o'clock. They were stiff. They kept refilling my glass. I will not end up like Grandpa, and I will certainly not end up like Dad.
All right. So,
Tired
Dad.
Yeah, so Dad drove drunk and killed Sister Sharon via that and is in jail.
Sister Sharon, by the way, is my favorite 1980s metal band.
Sister Sharon. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Sister Christian, Night Ranger, anybody? Tired of feeling sorry for myself, I decided to grab a bunch of supplies and bring them to Fleming Storage. I stopped at the Noah's Coffee House and picked up about 3 dozen donuts and other snacks to bring to the storage units. I'm assuming for everyone else. Good lord.
No.
3 dozen donuts? 36 donuts?
This is oh wait, is our narrator just a tremendous fat lady?
Upon arriving, I fell back into the usual routine, pulling stuff from the storage unit, loading it into the cell and trash boxes, loading up the truck, and bringing stuff over to Hoppers. I returned to Mark's for dinner, enjoying another couple of margaritas with my food. They ate 36 donuts. They did not share them.
I need that clarified, author.
I know,
you need to go back and edit that. Who are the donuts for, please?
He doesn't donuts.
Like 3 donuts? That's a lot of donut.
That's still fucking diabetes.
That's a lot of donut for one human. Like, 3 dozen is like, that is Olympic level eating.
That's like Friday, you're buying for your office because it's Friday donut day and you need 3 dozen of them for everybody. It's so many.
And then you're still left with some at the end, yeah.
Yeah, because they have those stupid, shaved coconut ones that no one wants to eat.
Dude, don't you be talking shit about shaved coconut.
Sorry, much like Ben Shapiro, they suck.
I know you want to get a bite of this shaved ass C word. It's coconut, Ben. That's not a...
I'm just tired of people attacking American values such as coconuts. Coconuts have a great heritage. I love to see them in, my local bakery, okay? This is something that America is losing sight of.
Yeah. All right. So this is me, right?
Yep.
I stopped in at the Somerville Wine Emporium to meet Tom. Treated myself to an overpriced bottle. It was bottled several times, just too many fucking bottles.
It was overbottled.
It was like a Russian nesting doll of fucking booze.
More bottle means better wine.
Treated myself to an overpriced bottle of Riesling from southern Napa Valley and headed home.
Good choice.
Whew, it took everything in my power to not accidentally say southern Nigeria. After the drive back to the hotel, I was so tired that I just collapsed on the bed. I collapsed in the whirlpool of drought. Again, I had a similar dream about being hit by a car, but this time it was while crossing the street. I woke, this time, in tears. 10:12. I guess this is supposed to be like a new paragraph, but it isn't, so I'll continue. I left the hotel early and drove out to the Highland Cinema on Route 9. I went over to Sharon... What? Say what?
Read that.
Oh.
I'm on DP.
Apparently allergies turned me into develop. I left the hotel early and drove out to the Highland Cemetery. Not a cinema. There will not be showings of anything actually ever because of COVID. On Route 9.
Yeah, both of them are dead, so...
Both of those things are no longer things.
Yeah. I went over to Sharon's grave and sat on the ground for several minutes in silence.
Remember funerals?
Remember, Sharon? No one's ever really Sharon. There was a small bouquet of flowers that looked fresh. Someone remembered her, even after all these years. Even all these years later. I apologized to Sharon's headstone that I hadn't been to visit in quite a while, but figured that she wouldn't mind too much. I told her that I was here to clear out all of Grandpa's stuff, and that he had died peacefully. I like the idea of apologizing to the headstone, because that's pretty much what people do.
Yep.
You know, they look at the stone instead of the ground. I don't know why. Human behavior.
It's a thing to fixate on.
Yeah.
I mean, funerals and all this stuff are not for the dead, they're for the living. So...
after a couple of minutes, I found that my words failed me, and I just sat there in silence while the sun got higher in the sky. Not wanting to waste daylight, I climbed into the truck and headed over to the Fleming Storage Units. Once again, I stopped for donuts and coffee on the way.
Jesus. This time I bought 4 dozen donuts and 12 pots of coffee.
Hoping that there would be more people present today, not wanting to chat and hang out a bit.
Nope.
Hoping that there would be more people present today who wanted to hang out and chat a bit. After visiting Sharon, I was feeling very lonely. It had been almost 8 years since I had seen my sister alive.
So 2 things. Number 1, I think they are actually buying it to, like, give to people at the units, at the complex, to, like, strike up conversation.
Okay, everybody, you have to go retcon all of your stories that you got a donut from an awkward person.
Yes. And that you threw it away because you were suspicious of what was in it.
Second thing, Riesling is one of the better sweet wines if anyone wants to get into those. So, highly recommend.
So I do not recommend Riesling.
We know about our character that they had a tragedy in their family.
Several.
And so they now are desperate to try to just connect with and talk to people and, you know, bringing donuts to lure people in. Like, somebody talk to me. Somebody, you know, connect with me and give me attention. Because my family was fucked when I was younger.
My family is in various states of embarrassment or death or shame or just missing. Yeah.
Death and embarrassment.
Death and embarrassment. Death and embarrassment. They go together like a cemetery tenement. Continued to dig out more and more crap from the storage unit. I was amazed at the sheer volume of junk that I had kept, thinking that one day I would want it. Most of it just went straight to the trash, but the occasional watch or piece of servingware went over to the consignment shop. The storage unit was getting close to empty. Perhaps one more day would finish the job out. Realistically, I would barely make enough money from the sold stuff to make back even what I paid for the Uhaul. However, I would gladly accept no money whatsoever to put this whole chapter behind me. Coming back stirred up a lot of memories and emotion that I thought I was done with, but I guess I hadn't.
Heading over to the plaza next door, I returned to Marg's for dinner. Marge smiled at me and brought me over to a table quickly. Friendly as ever, she handed me the menu, and we chatted a bit about the sudden crowds and the surprising closing of the storage units next door. After dinner, I went back to the hotel. Okay, so my only concern right now is we've done trips to the unit and back with like nothing occurring, which is like, you know, not that it's a big nitpick, but it's like, wait, why did we go there? You know?
Yeah, it does feel like this is kind of just padding. When you could achieve, like, there's important things like Sharon and the cemetery and such, but you could achieve those within the span of an in-universe day as opposed to multiple.
Okay, so a few things there. I think, one, we're interrupting the story a lot because that's just what we do.
Sure.
Two, part of that is probably just me, like, really emphasizing as, like, the project runner, hey, mundanity is fine, leave that stuff in, when realistically, you can pare it back, but I think that it's better to put that stuff in there and then figure out what's necessary and not, versus it being just more idealized and not having those things. And you know what I mean? Like, it's better that stuff could be edited down, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to take accountability off of it from Sci-Guy Hats and say part of it's probably my fault. As I was driving down Route 2, a jackass in a red Impala cut me off, probably linked to another story. Yeah. I guess I wasn't going fast enough, you know, only doing 45 in a 35 zone, so they cut around me. I was tired, so I was surprised when the car suddenly jumped out in front of me, and I slammed on the brakes and skidded to the right to avoid them. Lucky for me, there was nothing next to me at the time apart from the curb.
And Abysmii.
So I was And Abysmii. So just poof. Oh, thank God I'm fine, except for hitting that alien.
God damn it.
So I was
night
able to.
there's an Abysmii body on the street.
Every morning there's Abysmii's tire-streaked corpse. I don't know. Tire
So I was
smeared.
able to recover and get back on the road with only a lingering dust cloud in the street lights as evidence to the altercation. That's cool. It's funny, that car looked a lot like my dad's old Camry.
Do we have a ghost?
The driver
Ghost car?
driver was in a Burger King costume. Anyway, sorry.
Is Dad Red Impala? I think that the shock of the near collision on the road gave me an adrenaline boost because it took me forever to fall asleep that night. Once again, I had a nightmare. This time, I was in the driver's seat and had lost complete control of the car. It was accelerating down the sidewalk as people were diving out of the way. No matter how hard I hit the brakes or jerked the wheel, it kept on a collision course to the gagging gaggle of pedestrians in front of me.
I've played that level of Grand Theft Auto.
I'll beat your ass at gagging gaggle. I don't know.
10:13. I laid in best.
It's the best Western.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, Abysmii, he's lying. It's I laid in bed.
Oh.
It's supposed to be.
The bed at the best Western, or the best, for short.
It's like I could see S and D are close to each other on the keyboard, but T is just an entirely extra letter. Whatever. I laid in bed, cold sweats seeping into the sheets. Slowly, with an immense weight upon me, I carefully got up, and I shoved Sharon off of me because her corpse was on me.
God,
my head
what?
was pounding. Sorry. My head was pounding, and my stomach was turning in knots. A shower. A shower would help me. I fell into the whirlpool. I swallowed 3 ibuprofen and climbed into a hot shower. As the water cascaded down upon me, I stood still, letting the heat relax my muscles and wipe away the nightmare from the previous night. It helped a bit. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I like the idea of him being so fatigued and everything. He just smears himself with soap and then just like rag dolls in the whirlpool. Like just goes limp.
I did the only thing I could do at that time with all the pain in my body. I took 3 ibuprofen, 4 donuts, and 5 mimosas, and just soaped up my body and ragdolled in the old whirlpool.
This person's just a glutton. Or a hedonist. Still not feeling great, I drove back to Fleming Units for presumably the last time. Skipping coffee this morning, but still getting 25 dozen donuts, I continued to go through the remaining boxes. I worked tirelessly throughout the day, but at a much slower pace than the previous couple of days.
No sugar rush.
The headache just... Yeah. Oh, yeah. The headache just stuck around, getting better as the day went on, but killing my momentum. As the sun was getting low, it was adamantly clear that I would need another day. Dropping off 2 more boxes at the consignment shop, I chatted with Pete Jr. and Marty for a bit before heading back into Marg's for dinner. A few moments after leaving Hopper's, a loud crack split the air, resounding throughout the plaza. I figured that Marty was test-firing something idiotically, and that is why I heard a gunshot. Shrugging it off, I went into Marg's.
Huh.
Is that another reference to a story we haven't read?
Yeah, there was a story, we actually did read it. It was a bunch of episodes ago where the guy... he opens up the storage unit and lets out a huge bolt of lightning that's been captured inside. And it just goes crack. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like when my grandfather Zeus died, you know.
Yeah. It just ends up being Percy Jackson.
Yes. This is me, right? Figuring that I would be driving back home tomorrow afternoon/evening, I decided to celebrate. Appetizer, dinner, donut, dessert, and a few drinks. There's no donut in it. I moved to the bar and spent some time chatting with the bartender and the other folks at the bar. Knowing I had a few margaritas for dinner.
Could you possibly put some donuts in the margaritas? I think I'd prefer that.
Okay, what makes more sense than Matt Pat drinking a bunch of margaritas before he records? Hey everybody, welcome to the games. Knowing I had a few margaritas with dinner, I knew I would need to spend a little time at the bar sobering up before I drove home. Therefore, I ordered a beer.
What?
And nursed it for quite some time while I chatted and played on my phone.
That's just, you asked for water, homie.
playing Fortnite
No,
mobile.
not me. I'm too embarrassed. It's just like, no, I need to sober up. Give me a beer. That's what I do. That's a total DP move.
I need a Budweiser. I need a Coors Light. That'll sober me up.
Oh my god, no. I would order whatever's on tap.
God, it depends. I mean, depends on the bar. I'm spoiled though. It's DP's turn.
Moving out of from the bar to the truck, I climbed into the cab, realizing that I still had that small statue of Mary in the cab with me. And I picked it up, and is he just driving the Uhaul truck everywhere? I guess
think
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's got
no option.
he's got the little tiny Virgin Mary strapped into the passenger seat. You know.
I like the idea that he's like hitting on women in the bar. He's just like, "Hey, let's go," and she's like, "Okay," and they just go out to a U-Haul truck. This is my rig, baby.
Yeah.
You can fit so much inconsequential crap in here. Slaps you all.
Hey baby, why don't you haul your ass in here? But do you guys? I have a quick question though. Do you guys ship the tiny Virgin Mary with the tiny Karate Kid?
I don't ship, but sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. I picked it up and turned it over in my hand before placing it back down. It had one of those rubber gasket stoppers on the bottom that closed the statue's interior, keeping dust out and providing a non-slip surface. As I drove down Route 2, flashing red and blue lights suddenly illuminated my rear view mirror. I was pulled over and waited. For after several minutes of tense waiting, the officer got out of the car and approached me. I heard him tap on the rear taillight and knock on my window. I felt the color drain from my face when I saw the officer. William Platt, Sharon's boyfriend up until she died.
Huh.
Wow.
He shined the bright light into my eyes and asked for my license and registration.
So if Sharon had married William Platt, she would have been S. Platt. She would have been splat.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
That's not good.
Looking over the documents, he said nothing for several minutes. I sat in silence with both hands on the wheel. Get your ass out of the car, Sawyer, he said. Yes, sir, I said politely. Don't sir me, Sawyer, he curtly replied.
Don't you show me respect, you fucker.
You called me a dirty pig, and I don't fucking like it. Stumbling, I got out of the car and stood trembling. I didn't know what feelings he still harbored for my family after Sharon's death, but I didn't want to push it. Well, it wasn't your fucking fault. Though you had thought you had left town, never to return, he asked. Cleaning out a storage unit with all my grandfather's old stuff, I answered, voice trembling. Why are you nervous? He demanded. William, you know why. Bullshit, you've been drinking. I had a couple, I admitted. But I stopped before I had too many. I don't want to end up like your old man, killing people and ruining lives. Ooh. His voice escalated to a fever pitch. You don't want to fuck over people you love?
Ooh. I looked down and said ACAB. No, I looked down, saying nothing. I could feel tears welling in my eyes. If I cried enough while looking down, he might slip and fall. I could feel tears welling in my eyes. I knew why he was so angry, and he had every right to be. No, he didn't. After all, this was the first time in 8 years he could actually vent at someone. Our narrator has some issues.
Yeah.
A little bit of a soy boy.
Yeah. I really wanted
Sawyer boy?
Oh, yeah. Sawyer boy.
I am Tom Sawyer.
Fuck. Is this his origin? Dad was in prison out of the city, and he couldn't just go there and berate the man who killed his own daughter and crippled her boyfriend. Okay. You are drunk off your ass. Take the breathalyzer, he said, putting it in my hand. I pocketed it and said thanks. No. Take the breathalyzer, he said, practically shoving it into my mouth. After a few seconds, it bleeped. 0.07%. I'm fine to drive, I contested. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about the logistics of seeing someone in prison. My knowledge of criminal law is not great, but I think, especially if you're a cop, they don't typically question of like why you're here if you have some relation.
I think the thing is, the whole thing about the guy killing his own daughter is like, what's he going to do? Go yell at the guy for?
Oh, okay.
Like he's,
I was like,
I don't
physically
know.
He couldn't do that. Like, oh, you could.
Okay,
good. If you wanted to.
It just seems like, he's suffering enough kind of thing, but I don't know if that's even, what they're going for.
You're fine to... Sorry, it's Brandon's turn. What am I doing?
You're fine to drive if you're driving a personal vehicle. However, a rented truck is a commercial vehicle, and that means the limit is 0.04, he said accusingly. And you can barely stand, even if you're not legally drunk to drive your own car. You can fucking kill someone. Turn around, hands behind your back. I complied and started to cry. Soy boy, oh my god.
What a
He
bitch.
turned the truck off and pulled the keys from the ignition, guided me to the back of his squad car. He roughly put me in. He turned the lights off and we started driving. We sat in silence for several minutes. So that's a cool premise.
Yeah.
That's like a good little wrinkle to the story about the limit being different for a commercial vehicle versus a personal car.
And a little bit of a twist that we really haven't seen in many of the other stories. It's typically just, it's so centric to the unloading of the storage units that it's kind of like that through line is just constantly there, but this is completely diverging.
Abysmii, we've read about 7 Fleming Storage Unit stories by now that hinge entirely on the legal drinking limit with a Uhaul. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? That's such a common trope.
God, I'm just so drunk right now. I couldn't drive a U-Haul. Where are you staying, he asked. Why, I answered. Because that's where I'm taking you. Why, I repeated, more confused than ever. He sighed. Because I don't really care to arrest you for a technicality on intoxication. To be honest, I don't even want to be a cop. I didn't even want to be a cop, so whenever I can look the other way, I do.
Huh.
Then why didn't you just...
Because he could literally kill somebody.
He could?
Yeah.
Okay. I sat in stunned silence. Best Western, Route 2, I said weakly. Have you visited your dad since you've been back? No, I only have visited Sharon's grave. I was just there the other day, dropped off a bunch of flowers for her, he said quietly. So that was you. Yeah, I really miss her. My life's completely changed since that night. Mine too. Mine too. My voice was barely audible. Why aren't you arresting me? I asked again. I'm letting you
drunk.
off. Where are we going?
Why aren't you arresting me?
I'm letting you off because your dad fucked both of us over. But I swear to God, if you pull this shit you pulled tonight, I will haul your ass off to jail. Thank you, I responded weakly. Don't thank me. Just don't ever do it again.
I will U-Haul your ass off to jail.
Yeah.
Hey.
That was very powerful, and I'm glad that the story is taking us in a good direction. Now let me read my part. The rest of the rid continued in silence. Fuck! It's supposed to be ride. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Once we pulled up to the hotel, he helped me out of the back of the car and took off the cuffs. He told me that he would call the car in as a breakdown, and I can pick it up at the impound lot in the morning. That's fun. I thanked him one last time and went inside. I went straight to bed and slept free and clear of nightmares. Huh. Oh my god!
Closure.
Wait a minute.
Was the Mary statue was giving him nightmares?
No, guys. I don't know if it's going to touch on this in the last paragraph, so maybe I should shut up. But, he was dreaming about an auto accident, and this guy stopped him from driving relatively drunk. He was going to hit somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been building up to that. Like, the drinking has been escalating. The amount of driving in the story's been escalating. It's been, like, nice and a good pace. You know.
All the donuts meant there was going to be a cop.
Oh, my God.
Superman #1.
You know. The next morning, I got into a taxi and picked up the truck from the impound. A small price to pay for a DUI. To avoid a DUI is what it should say.
Yeah.
With the truck in hand, I drove back to the
truck in hand. It's a Funko truck.
Trunko Pop. Drove back to the Fleming Storage Unit. Storage. I quickly scanned the remaining junk, closed the door, and handed my key with its paperwork to the office worker and left. I looked at the digital display on my dashboard, October 14th, the day that Sharon had died 8 years ago. I know. Why William was essentially letting me off with just a warning. I drove out to the Fleming Storage Unit, not planning to ever come back. I stopped the car in the abandoned lot next door and just cried. No matter how hard I tried, I had turned out just like my father and grandfather. I looked at the statue of Mary, curiously pulling at the rubber gasket. When it came out, the smell of spoiled brandy assaulted my nostrils. It was a fucking flask.
Yeah.
I may never escape this addiction that I didn't even know I had.
Ooh.
Hiding your booze in the Virgin Mary.
That he had next to his bed every night.
Yep.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
All right.
Damn.
Would either of you marry a virgin? I don't know. How do you end that? Seriously, how do you?
I don't know.
I don't know. This was a great story.
Yeah. That was really
I do
good.
agree that it drags a little bit in the middle.
Yeah.
But minimal typos, great pacing overall. Good. Really good.
Yeah, it's
we keep getting these really good Fleming Storage Unit stories and have nothing to say.
Then we don't know how to end the episode.
So if you liked this story, please remember to
comment and subscribe.
No. What?
just stop it there. We're done.
Oh god.
This has been the Fear Fiction Podcast. Your hosts are Abysmii, Dead Palette, and Slimebeast. Music by Abysmii. Art by C.F. Comer. Voiceover by Atticus Jackson. Edited by Elias the Intern. Subscribe to Fearfic on YouTube to stay up to date on new episodes.
Come, sit next to fire. Share in cabbage pierogies. It's time to tell you another tale from home. Story my mother tell me. Mother Russia. There once was a town built, then abandoned by capitalist pig Daznoid. Daznoid built many amusements. Things that go petla and Vrashnia. You know, things on tracks like coal mine carts. But for fat American tourists. Place called Daznoidland. And People Republic of Russia fought it. Daznoid did not listen to proletariat needs. Refused to serve vodka and cabbage pierogi in park. Erect giant statue of Lucky Lemming. And not a statue of noble Nieman. Must wait in line for rides. Russians only wait in lines for bread. Park is abandoned when it does not turn profit for wealthy stockholder. Abandoned park is overtaken by wild bears. One day, RT journalists go to investigate foibles of American business at park. Journalist wearing his bear repellent deodorant on finds a hidden doorway with rusty lock. Lock just breaks from threat of Putin's wrath. Inside hallway is sign saying corporate logos only, spaceable. Journalists walk inside to photograph bourgeois fursuit. There, in middle of room, is Lucky Lemming suit. But no normal Lucky Lemming suit. Photo negative Lucky Lemming suit. Journalist takes suit. Winters are harsh and Krasnovarsk. Fur keeps him warm. Sadly, Lemming suit masked bear apparent. RT journalist mauled by bears. The lesson? Don't take American handouts. This is Russian Creepypasta. Respected worldwide. Owned by everyone. Russian bear always our hero.
Cute, sexy robots. That's cute, sexy, not robot, robots, all one word. Twitter handle, high class smut. Go check that shit out.
Why is it always porn with you guys?
Just shut up.
How many times have I plugged porn?
I don't know, 12 times. Okay, why is it always porn with Abysmii? Abysmii is like that guy.
Porn with Abysmii.
Because that's the only enjoyable stuff on Twitter anymore.
Abysmii is that guy you see at the library where he looks, harmless, he looks normal, he looks like an average guy. And he's reading a book and you come over and you sit next to him to read your book and you look over and he's reading some really, just disgusting, smutty, dirty shit. How to fuck everybody. How to fuck everybody for dummies, something.
That book that gets stocked at the library all the time.
How to fuck everyone.
How to totally slash gash.
Yeah. He's like going through, he's like reading, he has the dictionary, a big, huge dictionary out. You sit next to him and he's looking, he's got in the dictionary, he's got just a copy of Hustler between the pages. And you're like, why are you doing that here?
You're going to say has a dictionary and just is looking up the word boobs.
Yes, he's looking up boob over and over.
I come fucking 8 again.
Closing the book, turning to boob, laughing, closing the book, turning to boob.
Turning to boob.
Yeah.
The Abysmii story. Whenever I was down on my luck, I always turned to boob.
I think I'm turning to a boob. I think I'm turning to a boob. I really think so.
Boob, 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 boob.